Welcome to my garage where I am working on Morticia's diorama. I'm pretty much almost finished with it. I just kind of want to go over some of the basic stuff that I used to get it to this point. Most of this stuff was actually purchased through Michael's with a coupon, and it cost pretty much under 40 bucks. A lot of other stuff that is in this diorama I basically had around the garage and around the house. So without further ado, let's just kind of get to it. Basically, I bought the base at Michael's. It's a good standard size base for Morticia. The backing on the wall is a 1/4 inch by 12 by 12 inch balsa wood, because I wanted something a little sturdy. The actual baseboard that I used was some extra strips of balsa wood that I had in the garage, and I basically just painted that up to represent the baseboard. I just now finished putting up a little header piece on the top of the wall here. I kind of glued it down with some of the Elmer's Carpenter's wood glue, since it's just wood to wood. And I fastened it down with a couple of some brad nails for my my air gun, just to kind of hold it in place. And I will be painting that up maybe to kind of match with the baseboard there. The actual wallpaper you see right here is a choice I picked out of many sheets that that my daughter had. I just want something plain, kind of basic, so I kind of chose a color pattern. If you look real close, it's almost kind of like a cross weave pattern. So I thought that was appropriate against her black dress. As far as the two cameo wall hanging pictures, this is actually skeletal figures of a man and a woman. Kind of looks like Victorian time. But I thought that was pretty neat. It comes in a package of 5, so I thought that would be nice to have to actually glue onto the wall, which I used CA glue for that. The mirror itself is basically made by, it's called Miniature Designs, and they make, like I say, small to scale items. So I thought that would be a nice touch to put the mirror and then have the two facing each other on either side. And of course I just did a little thing here with putting maybe like a mouse hole there inside the baseboard. So like I say, with that being said, we will be back, and I will set this thing up back inside the house, and I will show you some of the other diorama items that I used. But before I go, a couple more things that just came to my mind while we're out here. Hopefully you can see this. This is one of the items I used for Cleopatra, the plant. This is actually plastic. It came out of a basically a plastic flower petal. This is what I got here. And if you look here, you can see different sizes here. And what I actually ended up doing was actually taking one of these rose petals, and it had this on the back of it. So I just kind of popped that off. Nothing's glued. It just kind of snaps on and off. And that's what I used for the Cleopatra's kind of basically mouth opening. So thought that was a pretty nice idea. As far as the rest of the Cleopatra, the body structure, we can kind of go with, I kind of use shipping peanuts that you can find in any kind of packaging, when things get delivered to you. So I just basically took that and probably another piece here, and I kind of basically just kind of put them together, put a little CA glue, and then I ran a toothpick inside just to kind of hold it in place. And like I said, once this is done, I kind of put it like that and like that, But I did one other modification to the shipping peanuts, and I used my shouldering station, and I actually kind of, hopefully you can see this, I actually burned some marks into it just to kind of give it a little bit of some texture to it, so make it kind of look more plant-like. And like I said, once that being said, then I basically just went ahead and put that in like so, and I actually used some galvanized nails and actually stuck that into this as well as that to hold it in place, and then CA glued everything down. And then of course I'll show this to you later what it looks like afterwards, after I airbrushed all the detailed paint on it to make it look like a somewhat real plant. So that's what we have out here as far as the what I've been doing out here in the garage. Let me go back into the house, stand by a moment, and we will talk about other things that I have accomplished for this diorama. So stay tuned, everybody, and we will be right back. Alright, as you can see, we're back and we are in the house. There's some nice air conditioning. It's pretty hot out in the garage. But just a couple more things on the diorama here. As you can see right here, we have basically a wooden stand. I'll start off with natural wood here, and I sanded the wood down and then I sprayed some Krylon primer, which was like a flat gray. Once that dried, I basically sanded it down with some 400 grit sandpaper, make it nice and smooth. And then once that was done, I actually took some of this Americana slate gray, and I basically dry brushed on certain parts of the stand, kind of make it look like a marble effect. So that was my intention anyways. So with that, once that was done, I sanded it down one more time and made it nice and smooth, and this is what we have as a result. You know, I mentioned earlier about Cleopatra the plant, so let's go ahead and bring her in. This is pretty much the finished product here for scratch building. The actual purple kind of planter pot, I had this in the house, so I just went ahead and used it. I actually also put some talus inside the pot, and of course Cleopatra is being held down with some toothpicks with some of the kind of styrofoam that's hidden underneath the talus. And then of course I used some of the Scene-A-Rama kind of plant bushes and just kind of crumbled them up and stuck them in there, and then I basically used some canopy glue to actually hold everything together as far as the you know, the green Scene-A-Rama plants and the talus. And then you can see here I kind of airbrushed on the shipping peanuts, and then hand painted some little textures on it and stuff like that. So, and of course, then I painted the plastic stems with, you know, purple and brown and stuff, just to kind of give it a little bit of some accent to it. But that is my rendition of Cleopatra the plant. So we'll put her on the table. The other thing I'm going to do is another product from the miniature scale items is a little silver platter, and we're going to put that eventually right here on the table. The other thing I did too was I took some of my epoxy sculpt A and B, mixed them together, and of course Cleopatra is being fed with some hamburger meat. So basically I just kind of rolled them up into little hamburger patty balls, and these will eventually go on the platter. And Cleopatra is ready for feeding. So that's my intention. I will go ahead and paint this all up and everything to make it look like some raw hamburger meat. But that's my intention there as far as the diorama. So like I said, with that being said, we're pretty much 99% complete with the diorama phase of Morticia. And until then, we will see you later. And next episode, we will have Morticia herself finished up and ready to go for the finale. So I hope you enjoyed this little session with the how I go about making my dioramas. And until then, we will catch you later. So long. Bye.